Welcome back, guys. I am Zell, and today we're taking apart the Boker Patriot. Alright, so the Boker Patriot, not sure what's in there, but from the outside it's pretty simple. You only need 2 torque wrenches, and really only one, because all of these screws are T6. Or T8. The only one that's a T6 is for the thumb stud. So we'll go ahead and pull the thumb stud out. Easy enough. And then we'll get the pocket clip off. Starts with the T8s. That's held down in there pretty good. And you can see that, yep. There's a little bit of blue Loctite on there, so Boker's doing us right. And then it's been a long time since I've taken a lock back apart. I don't remember which way is better. We'll try closed. And it's probably going to jump all over the place, but we'll see. Just take all of our body screws out. And that's in there pretty tight. And there we go. That's what's inside that thing. From here, we'll put a little pressure. I think we're going to go ahead and open it. And if we put a little pressure here, we can lift out the blade. And this is interesting. We'll take apart a Delica here pretty soon. The way they've designed this, it's all one piece. Your spring is integral to your lock bar. That's pretty slick in my opinion. Now, as some people have mentioned, we don't have any bushings in here. And I personally don't think that's a big deal on this type of knife. But some people will have other opinions, but that's about it. We could, and I guess we can, we'll go ahead and take the rest of the knife apart. And this is just a wiggle thing here, the way this is set up. Gonna have to work it loose. We may have to get a little screwdriver out here, or maybe the end of this pocket clip. Kind of get it a little, gonna have to wiggle it back and forth. That's all I'm doing, is just wiggling and lifting. Get it up over that one, and we can do a little more wiggling. There we go. Our little pin came out, little sleeve came out. And that's all that's in that thing. We've got a little pin here that doesn't do anything but limit travel for this. And we got a pin back here to hold everything in place. Very simple knife, very clean design. I rather like this design. It's pretty nice for your lock back. Now, while you got it apart, go ahead and get your microfiber cloth out. Clean everything up a little bit. Slide that pivot screw out, or I'm just going to slide it down. Wipe everything off. And this is a pretty new knife, so everything looks good inside. I'm going to grab the Ezox and we'll lube it up and put it back together. And so here's what we're going to use. We're going to use some Ezox. I'm just guessing at how to pronounce that. Some stuff I got from Browse Blades. And, it seems to work really good on bearing knives. And it seems to work good in some other places. I had it in this knife, it was working fine, so we're going to put it back in there. Other knives I'll use other oils, but this has become kind of the go-to to see if it works. And one note on this stuff, whenever you first put it on the knife's going to feel like you did something wrong. It's not quite going to be right. Let the knife sit for a little bit and let this stuff do whatever it does, and everything will smooth out nice and good if this is the right oil for the knife. Anyhow, I'm going to put a little dot there, a little more than I intended, but that'll be alright. We can wipe it up here in a bit. And we're going to try to shimmy this thing back in here. Get it around that, and it slid right back in. That is excellent. I'm going to wipe up just a wee bit of that oil. That's way too much. And from there, let's slide this down, see if we can get our blade laid back in there. Be very careful here. We didn't tape this blade, and we probably should have. But there we go. Blade's back in place. Grab our other scale. Give it just a dribble of the Ezox. And snap that thing down in place. And from here, it's simply going back in reverse order. These screws have got blue Loctite on them, but I'm still going to use my gel here and give them just a little bit. Not much at all, just a little. Oh, not that one. That one's for the pocket clip. Get all these screws back down in here. And that was actually a pleasure to take apart. I was worried about taking apart lockbacks. Sometimes they can be just a real pain in the butt. As we'll see whenever we take apart the Delica. There's an extra spring inside that Delica that makes it, well, you need about 4 hands to do it. But we'll get it done. One very nice thing here is all the screws are the same size, which is rather nice. Many times you'll have a knife that'll have like 3 different screw sizes and you're scratching your head like, what the heck? Who thought this up? Not a brilliant man. Or woman for that matter. Alright. And I just love how that pocket clip goes down on there like the Spyderco wire clips. That is a very good design. I wish they'd softened that just a little bit more, but man, that's a good design. Alright. Snug our pivot up. Make sure those are good and snug. Another major bonus to the way this thing's constructed is with those sleeves, you shouldn't have anything that's going to get in the way of pivoting the knife. Sometimes whenever you do these, there'll be a screw that goes into the pivot for this lock bar, and it's just awful. Makes everything awful because you need it to locate the knife, get the blade centered, but you can't get the blade centered if it's loose enough for you to work the lock back, and it just gets nuts. I rather despise that design. But I really like what Boker's done here with the thumb stud, much like Benchmade does on most of their knives. Giving you that torque screw to get that thing out of there in case you need to get it out of the way for sharpening. That is a beautiful thing. And there we go. She's all back together. Not bad at all. It's probably the easiest lockback I've ever taken apart and put back together, guys. Anyhow, that's all there is to it. Open her up, wipe her out, give her a little lube, and put her back together. Anyhow, guys, I really appreciate you hanging out with me for a few minutes and getting a look at the guts of the Boker Patriot. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And you guys have a wonderful day, and I'll see you next time.